Welcome everyone to the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders. This is a live streaming video podcast by Star Wars fans for Star Wars fans, and today we're bringing you our review of Star Wars Tales of the Empire Season 1, Episodes 1 through 6.
Yeah, what were your initial thoughts on this?
My initial thoughts were just pure frustration. Not because of this. This was perfect, but because of how fucking terrible the Bad Batch was, and then this comes out. It's like, why? Why can't you find like a happy middle ground?
Right.
Like, this was so fucking good. This is like middle of the road. Oh God, what was it? Like season 3 or season 4 of the Clone Wars, where we got a lot of the Night Sister shit. It's so good.
Yeah, I didn't like this as much as you did.
Really? Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked elements of all of these episodes, but for the most part, I was left sort of like disappointed in that it didn't feel like the whole series was Tales of the Empire. It felt like it was tales of people that were tangentially connected to the Empire momentarily.
I can see that. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
No,
know.
I under that I can definitely understand, especially because like tangentially, like both of them, like because it follows,
especially the second series.
Yeah, because I mean you got Morgan Elsbeth and then Barriss Offee.
Yeah, and Barriss Offee's ended as in she's a redeemed Jedi. So what the fuck does that have to do with the Empire?
Right.
And then Morgan
probably
Elsbeth
alive. Yeah,
has nothing to do with the Empire. She ended up going to work for Thrawn, who was only momentarily in the Empire.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think they used the cameo of Vader to sell the idea of the series, and then it just, I don't know.
Well, it did deliver too. Like, we'll get into the shit real quick, but just the one thing that bothered me is that was one of the first acts when you were in the Inquisitorius was to get a limb lopped off by Vader. That didn't happen to her. So it's like, was this like the first batch and they were all pussies or something? Like,
this
I don't
bad
know.
batch.
Yeah, I guess this was the bad
Infiltrators.
batch of them. Yeah.
Oh, I can't get my light right. All right. So this all dropped at once on May the 4th. I didn't realize that, and it wasn't until the week after that I was like, oh, yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
We should watch and review this.
Yeah, I was so excited. I was ready to go home and watch that, and then as soon as I got home I forgot, and it took me a week to get to it. And then I watched it pretty much all at once. Yeah. I mean, really it's only like an hour worth of content.
Yeah, it's not a lot. So it's just like Tales of the Jedi. The first 3 are focusing on one character. The second 3 are focused on another character. It jumps through time from the Clone Wars to the Empire time to the after the Empire time for the first group. But for the Barriss Offee one, it's all pretty much just the very beginning. Like, it doesn't get past it doesn't even get to the rebellion part because we still have the Inquisitorius.
Yeah, it goes past that though.
When? Because
I guess that would be during the rebellion. Yeah, never mind. You're right.
So it was just weird that they're so. You had to do that with Morgan Elsbeth because we know where she ends up if you watched and were disappointed with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And if you watched it, you were disappointed with Ahsoka. Anyway, so these were all written by Dave Filoni, which I think is probably the problem. I do genuinely feel like he has turned a corner into like just Star Wars masturbation rather than trying to tell a great Star Wars story.
I agree. And you know what? I think that's part of the problem is it's not just, tell a good story, it's tell a good Star Wars story. His strength is when he's telling a story that just so happens to be in a universe versus focusing on that shit, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the first episode had me at go. It was fucking Dantooine or Dathomir. It was like different clans of witches. And here's something that the old Star Wars Galaxies MMORPG had like a whole host of different like sort of witch clans, and I like that. But I want a little bit of explanation because I never got it. I don't feel satisfied that I ever got it when I was playing the MMORPG back in the day, and they've never retread that ground as far as I know. And so we just have the Clone Wars Dathomir witches, the Night Sisters, and then now we have like the Forest Clan and the Mountain Clan. Like, what was Morgan Elspeth's clan? Do you know? They're like the Stone Clan.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Because all it references is that she was saved by the Mountain Clan.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mountain Clan apparently are more like Jedi because they're more passive, use their powers to protect and, help.
See, and that shit's so weird to me because it's like that was never my understanding of the Dathomir witches, because
none.
Like they engulfed the whole planet, like so much so that during pre-Disney taking over and stuff, like the reason why they were able to hold on for so fucking long as a civilization was because they were all conduits of that power, and they literally put a force field around the planet.
Oh wow!
Because they were that united. So yeah, it was definitely a little weird to see other, I guess, religions there, because it's just like that's never how it was originally.
Yeah. Well, it also kind of bothers me that here's the thing: I don't mind if there's different tribes.
Yeah, no,
because
it makes
normal.
sense.
That's life.
Yeah.
But like, you should at least have a unified identity of what the Dathomir witches are, especially if you did watch Ahsoka and you realize they're from a galaxy far, far away, not the Star Wars galaxy, and it never once made any suggestion that Morgan had any connection with a different galaxy or different ancestry of origin of her Night Sisters. And yet, that's the one question that everyone would have after having watched fucking Ahsoka. Is how the hell did she know about them? Apparently she was hearing their voices across the galaxies. How? Like what? What power? And then why her? Is she like the last of all the Night Sisters, and so she has to hear it?
Well, see, and that's a frustrating thing because she's not.
Yeah, Asajj Ventress is still around apparently.
Yeah, well, I mean, so we've got 3 that we know of. We've got obviously Asajj, we've got Morgan, and then we've also got I always forget her fucking name, but the one from the Jedi Survivor games.
Oh right.
Yeah,
right.
So we for sure have 3 living in this era. So it's like, why weren't all of them reached?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just bothers me that you go to all this length of setting up this lore that they exist as this very powerful entity in this other galaxy, and at some point they came over here, and you're going to tell a story about the person who reaches back out and brings them back home. You're not going to mention how they got there in the first place in that story? I don't know. So
well, and it's like with Ahsoka, it's like they almost tried to explain it like, oh well, they rode space whales here. It's like I don't know if I buy that.
Yeah, because you're just gambling. You don't know anything's out there. So they just like cowabunga, dude, like just riding space whales, and they're just like, oh shit, we ended up in a new galaxy.
Wait, I'm not dead? Oh my god, this is amazing.
I just thought I was gonna have a ride.
Yeah, it's
the whole thing was a little bit weird in that aspect, but. And there's a lot about this episode that kind of bothered me under the surface, but on the surface, it was all candy and frosting and beautiful. I loved
100%.
Loved watching Grievous kick ass.
Oh my fucking! Well, I mean, God, that was like the first note that I had is best fight in a Star Wars show in a minute. Like this was fucking amazing. Like this was everything that we've been wanting since the end of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And, of course, with the Bad Batch, we understand it's about the clones and their transition into the new galaxy and all that shit. But still, they set up so much about there being Jedi and stuff. And it's like, why didn't we get any of that? Yeah. So it was almost like this was like, hey, sorry, guys, you had to suffer through that. Here. Lightsabers, remember those?
Aren't they cool?
And yes is the answer.
The Force scythes with like the witchy smoking shit.
Just
that stuff was super dope. I really like that.
And
then of course her whole tribe gets just wiped the fuck out, and then she's rescued by the Mountain Clan, and that's where we learn that the Mountain Clan is wildly different. But she insists on going back. Now here's the biggest problem. The droids have to go over the Mountain Clan in order to get to Morgan's tribe.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do a planetary scan for other life forms, other Witchet tribes. Like they don't. Are they only attacking Morgan's tribe because they resisted? Because I thought it was Emperor, like he ordered them to wipe out all Night Sisters.
Yeah.
And so why would they leave a whole tribe in the mountains?
Yeah, I do find it hard to grasp like why it would just be them. Because
and then just stop.
No, what droid is going to be like, oh, there's some weird looking lady. No, I'm pretty sure that one's good. I'm just going to walk on by. That doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like the battle droids were just there to wipe people out. That was it. That was their only objective. Just blaze until they're fucking gone. You know, fuck everybody else that gets in the way.
Yeah, and it was a special request by the Emperor to have done that. Mm-hmm. Like, he got the ancient alchemy that he needed to get from them, and as soon as they started talking back, he just annihilated them all. Mm-hmm. And so that, like, they would not leave behind. So if your whole troop carrier, just one transport of troops comes down and gets destroyed, and they all don't report in, you're not just going to leave the planet like, okay, well, we must have succeeded. Mm-hmm. No, you're going to investigate why they didn't check in. You're going to send more troops down there to find out there's clearly survivors. Let's end this shit.
Well, and especially Palpatine, like, he was fucking smart.
Yeah.
Like, he knows, oh, these bitches can fight. That's why I went to them, because I wanted to learn their shit because they're so powerful.
Yeah.
Probably going to take more than one droid drop.
Yeah. Yeah. I did really like seeing Grievous, though. That was
man.
Very, very cool. And
so goddamn
all
good.
of the, even just seeing the manifesting, anytime we get to see Dathomir witches manifest their force powers, I think is very fun. It's just that sort of, up our alley type of imagery.
About the only thing that was kind of goofy, in my opinion, was when it was Morgan Elsbeth's mom, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. You know, she does the whole conjuring, and then she's got her fucking sides, and they have like I guess mana bars or whatever on them. So each time they're fighting, it goes down another notch.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little wonky, especially when there was no continuity. So it was down to like 3, and then the next scene was up to 5, and it's like, come on, guys. It's like, this isn't like you're shooting something where it's out of order.
Energy cell
like
depleting.
This is. Well, no, I'm talking like practical. Like, this is animation. Mm-hmm. You are making essentially each image. Why? How do you fuck up continuity with that? Yeah.
It's got to be in the editing room. They just like cut the edits back and forth and replaced them around for speed. And, just pacing.
So weird.
Yeah, that was weird. And what was it? Like, they just like blew out. Like, I feel like Grievous could have just gone up to her sides and just been like, and like half of the smoke would have gone away. She's like, and has to like reignite it again.
That would have been hilarious.
He just keeps blowing it out. I love the way he ended her, though. Like, he's like doing the crazy lightsaber things, and then his other hand just flips out of nowhere.
Dude, so goddamn
She's like,
good.
What? And it's okay to kill her with a stomach shot, but not Sabine. Huh.
Yeah, man. I guess she was. Well, I mean, I'm assuming that's why I wrote down "what a bitch," because she died so easily when nobody dies from those anymore.
Yeah. Oh man. The Path of Anger is the next one, and this is where she is already she steps in to be the magistrate, which I don't know. I didn't care how she got there, why she was there, what the purpose of it was when we watched that episode in Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. I was just like, oh, she's the magistrate. And then Ahsoka comes in and says,
accept it.
Where's Thrawn? And she's like, fuck you, bitch. And they fight. I was just like, oh, this is like Japan. Cool. You know? I never once thought about what the structural organization was around it. I like the idea that it was desolate and dead because of mining and stripping for resources. I don't like the idea that she just went out there and burned those trees to piss off her fucking people she's supposed to be protecting.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
So weird.
Like, now, okay, so bringing it to reality, it doesn't make sense, but it's something that is historically accurate. I mean, you look at the American buffalo, bison, as white people like to call them.
Yummy burgers.
They were wiped the fuck out and just wasted to prove a point, to kill a people. And like this is shit that was a constant throughout the founding of the West and stuff. Like there would just be miles and miles of corpses just rotting in the sun, and if anybody got close to try to harvest one, you got killed. So it's like that is a tactic that's used, so it's believable, but at the same time, when that is essentially one of your resources that you're trying to get the Empire to come out for, like why the fuck would you waste it?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if that was one of the resources that they were actually stripping, but it does just speak to. I mean, I get what they're saying. They're saying the Empire doesn't care about quality of life or individuals. They just want the core resources of why the planet's interesting to them in the first place. So they sold that. And they've always said that same story, no matter if it's the anime versions of the Visions that we saw. They did it in those two. And yeah, I accept it because we've seen it all throughout Star Wars. It's just, as someone who just happens to like plants, kind of bugged me. I was just like, why the fuck are you doing that?
I agree. I would rather
you suck.
Burn humanity than
yeah,
life.
Like hang someone or put it like they had that cool little like weird cage that they had to like force stand in. Like they couldn't rest, just in stress position the whole time. Put them in that.
That's way more devastating.
Don't fuck with the Lorax, man.
Yeah.
For the trees.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I like the idea of them bringing back the TIE Defender. I never liked the way they brought the TIE Defender project into this.
No, it was so forced.
Yeah, just the idea of like we saw it with Rebels, where Thrawn was like trying to force it, and it was like a competitor to the Death Star, which of course we know which way that goes. But there's no reason for it to have been a competitor to the Death Star, because in like the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter whole series of video games, it explains it is just the next evolution of ships. So why is it so resource intensive, and why do they make it such a big fucking deal when it's just an improved starship design?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's all it was in the fucking books too.
Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, it was devastating because it had shields. And that's fucking terrifying because, it's one of the most agile spaceships there is. But yeah, it wasn't like that big of a deal. And to have it be comparable to the Death Star, it's like those are two completely different things.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, we need armor for our troops. Well, we can't, god damn it, because we need a battleship. We're not using out all the same shit, but god damn it, stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of all that feels like.
Yeah, 100%. And then, of course, it just went the way of the dodo because they used that story beat, and they're like, well, we can't do that anymore, so we got to focus all resources on the Death Star. Well, if you're so limited in resources, how are you building these massive super Star Destroyers and endless supplies of them? And then if you're going to use the Disney logic, where the fuck did the Emperor get his whole Exodus fucking starship space destroyer fucking things from?
Yeah, that's the thing I don't get. The whole Exegol thing. Like
Exegol.
Not only how did he get them, but how did he get them underground and also have them fully staffed and working while underground? Like a lot of that shit didn't make sense.
Yeah, or get built like in secret with no people to actually build them.
Well, it's like this in the secret thing. I can understand that because it is in a different galaxy, so we can use that for the logic. It's outside the galaxy. I mean, you have to have a fucking stupid GPS system to find the place.
GPS.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every goddamn time. So it's like there's certain things we can excuse, but yeah, it's hard because it's like you want to like it, and then you think about it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, why'd I do that?
I did like that Thrawn was involved. I like that the reason why he became connected with her is because of the Defender program, and so he sort of picked that up. And I didn't really mind seeing Rook again come in and just sort of like go toes with Morgan. I always thought Rook was kind of weird, and he reminded me like in the EU, Darth Vader had sort of taken over this group. I can't remember what they were called, but they ended up being bodyguards for Princess Leia, because she went down there as daughter of Vader, and she sort of liberated them from the Empire, and so they swore alliance fealty to her, and like acted as protectors, and they were like more aggressive than Wookiees, and like, and so I always thought of Rook like that.
Were those the same ones that were Thrawn's guardians?
No, I'm just saying
okay, all right.
Wait a second. Yeah, he did have some that were, and they originally Thrawn sent them to assassinate.
Okay, so I am getting it right then.
It is the exact same ones.
Yeah, because that's how.
One of those.
What's that?
I don't know if Rook was one of those. His little assassin boy.
I don't know.
Little monkey looking.
I'm gonna look this shit up.
I feel like he bites you when he fights you. You know, he like latches on. You probably get infections from his rotten teeth.
Probably.
But those are cool little like species, and if they throw those EU species in with Rook, then awesome. You know, give us some.
Yeah, man. No, Rook. That's the species.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's funny. I always thought they were a lot smaller. Like that was my understanding.
That's it.
Books.
Yeah.
So that's I
thought they were bigger. Interesting.
Well, because like in Heir to the Empire, the whole idea of them being assassins is it's like they're almost like, it's not that big of a deal because they're little bitty guys.
Yeah.
But they're super fucking fast and super violent.
Yeah, I mean they invaded Kashyyyk.
Yeah.
And got past all the Wookiees to kill Lady Vader. Okay, well I feel better about Rook even more. I liked him anyway, but now I like him more.
Yeah.
And I like seeing them fight, and I like Thrawn showing up, being Thrawn and not Beer Belly Thrawn.
Yeah, see that's a funny thing. Like I knew, like, it's obvious that we're gonna have to see Thrawn.
Yeah.
Like this is the whole thing. This is the backstory of two characters that we know, and I guess kind of like. So obviously there's gonna be a Thrawn, but for some reason, man, that surprised me seeing him, and it was just like, that's why I like this character. He's just so nonchalant, level-headed. Like this is the Thrawn that I like.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, and we talked about it, of course, during Ahsoka. Like I understand the direction they went with him, but I don't like it.
Yeah, same here.
This though, it's like this is Thrawn.
Rook's fighting style reminds him of Salacious B. Crumb on steroids.
Yeah, man, I could see it, man. Well, I mean, shit. Actually, you can look it up. Signal from Sector 6.
We see it in full fucking beauty. So the last one of her stories was The Path of Hate, which I'm trying to remember this one. Oh, yeah, the New Republic girl comes back.
Yeah.
And she tries to liberate her town.
Yeah.
Which was weird. Why would... You know the scope of a threat that Morgan Elspeth is, and so you bring like 3 dudes with you.
Yeah. One of them is fat. Like,
I mean, let's not body shame. Porkins was he wasn't very effective either.
Okay, let me finish that statement, I guess. Like, I've never seen a tall, fat Solist before.
Oh,
ever.
Right.
So the idea of seeing a tall and a fat Solist is just like, what the fuck? They make them like that?
Yeah, he's like, I'm half American.
Yeah, that you know what? That must be it, man.
It's the fucking Midwest height and density.
Right.
Fucking gets you every time. Corn-fed. That's why they're called that. They get big. Chris, Porkins is a spirit animal.
Oh, yeah, man. True Republic hero, man.
All right. No, I didn't like this episode at all. Like, nothing about it felt good. It didn't feel like it should even have existed. It was weird.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was definitely a choice. That's for damn sure. Like, I didn't even really have any notes for it because I just guess I checked out. But it's like the one thing I did have was I like these, like the first half of the intro, or I like the intros being half the episode and that being the good part. But it's weird that the last half is garbage.
So here's one thing that really kind of bothered me. At the very end, old girl's dying. She calls out on her comm link, and she reaches Bo-Katan Kryze, sorry. So she's alive after the Empire falls? Like, we saw her in Mandalorian where it was like after it was still in the Rebellion era, right? When the fuck is Mandalorian? That's after.
Mandalorian's after.
Yeah.
Mandalorian's
right,
post-Battle of Jakku.
Okay. Never mind. I'm dumb. Yeah, the time frame didn't work out in my head as I was watching it, but yeah, now that you said that.
That is the one thing about this. It's like, say what you will about Star Wars shit as of late, but there is a pretty solid timeline reference in everything.
Yeah.
It seems. And with this, it was very, very like I had to kind of do mental gymnastics to figure out where we were.
Especially when it's New Republic era, because you're like, well, wait a second, is this before sequel New Republic era, or is this after sequel New Republic era? Like, I'm not sure where this story is supposed to be taking place, but we know after. Well, so the Mandalorian is after Endor, like 7 years is when it started, and so it's before the rise of the New Order or the First Order, and so Elsbeth dies before the First Order ever is realized. And so this was before that, because she was in it. It was before Ahsoka got to her. It's just such a weird, tiny little frame of time that she's stuck in. And they're telling a story about it in there.
Well, shit, now I'm having a hard time with trying to figure it out. What was the whole point
of this particular episode?
Yeah.
Because she had already set up the program for Thrawn, who failed it, and then he was already gone. Because that happened in Rebels. He was taken away by fucking what's his butt, who ended up turning into a pussy. Yeah. So she's just sitting there rotting on a planet in a tiny little window of time, and we're gonna tell a story about that? Like, who cares? That is the most meaningless. It doesn't give you any information about the character. The other 2 episodes did. If you really wanted to give us a good episode, then have her hearing the communication from space that she's supposed to be connecting with.
Right. That's the piece of the puzzle that's missing, is that aspect of her importance. Because, like, Ahsoka, they fucking ruined her. Like, she was dope as hell in Mandalorian. And then Ahsoka's just like, at the end, it's like, oh, nope, she's dead now because she sucks. It's like, why did you drag us along with this character and just put so much emphasis on her importance just to have her just die off easily? Yeah. Like, that's fucking stupid.
I don't know. So then Devoted is this very beginning of Barriss Offee's arc. She had already had a pretty impactful screen time in Clone Wars. I mean, she was the first one to sort of rise up against the Jedi and be like, hey, you guys aren't really good. This whole thing is a lie. Am I the only one that sees it? And they're all like, yeah, you are. And she's like, fuck you then. I'm going to leave. I like that we pick up with her and she's imprisoned. And I like that she's going to be turned into an Inquisitor because we never knew what happened to her. It was just like, it happened and then, fucking just crickets.
Yeah.
What I didn't like was that, okay, so this first episode is great because it's her being turned into an Inquisitor and she has to fight someone and kill them, which is just stereotypical. Whether it's the Crimson Guard or whether it's your Inquisitors, you have to do that. You got to kill your friend.
Yeah, no absolutely.
It happens. We should actually do mock battles like that with our friends. Who would you kill and who wouldn't you kill?
Yes.
Everyone would just kill everyone.
Yeah.
It would be so uneventful. Well, just smacked in the faces with Nerf swords.
Yeah, man. I think we need to do this.
So it ended with Vader. So I was just like, oh, here we go. We're going to get into some crazy shit. And the second one, it was like, wah, wah.
Yeah. God, it's just, the thing is, it's like, the assignment when Vader's there.
Yeah.
And she's still surprised about everything. Well, this is bad though, isn't it? It's like, well, yeah, you're the bad guys.
What part of wearing the black mask and murdering your Jedi friend did you not realize?
Yeah.
That you were going to be a bad guy.
Yeah. It's like, from a certain point of view, you can argue that the Empire is good. they unified the galaxy, they brought order to the galaxy, they brought jobs to places, blah blah blah. Like there's arguments to make the Empire not whole villains.
Yeah.
The Inquisitors, not so much. That's like being like, oh, he's a hitman, but he's got a good heart. No.
Yeah. He always puts a penny in the penny jar.
It's like he fucking murders people for a living. Like, it's not like he's going to war and, murdering that way, which is patriotic and, it's acceptable, I guess. This is just straight up like, you should kill that motherfucker. All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Your whole mandate is to hunt down and exterminate Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the whole job.
Yeah.
And she is surprised by it.
Yeah.
So dumb. So they go to this planet. They're tracking down. She uses a little boy to help her get the information because she related to him on a human level. Yeah. And then she finds the information. They go off, and she's surprised when her Inquisitor, evil Sith, almost like not Sith, but evil Inquisitor sidekick murders everyone. She's like, but I thought we were the good guys. Like, what? That was never in the manual.
It's like you were literally there to assassinate somebody.
Dummy.
Period. And it was so disappointing too, because it started off so fucking cool. Like, my second note is, this is probably the best use of the dumb lightsaber ever. And then no shit, as soon as I finished typing that out, it was like wah wah wah. So the next note is, just kidding, the assassination was fucking dumb.
I take it back.
Yeah,
I could have just deleted it, but I won't.
No, it's I stand by my stuff. I don't know, whatever. It was almost cool. It was almost really, really cool, and then it wasn't. Like, I hate those fucking lightsabers so much.
Oh yeah, especially like that whole scene of them helicoptering. Oh my gosh, it just kills me inside. Yeah. No, but seeing Beresafi go toes with that Jedi, I thought was pretty cool until she starts like trying to convince him to be like a Jedi, and you're like, wait, what? No, just stop attacking us, and we can all be friends, and we'll work this out. Really, I've got Captain Crunch in my ship, and he's like, I love me some Captain Crunch,
right?
Like, and so he's like, okay, well then let's do this, and then this fucking old girl comes up and kills him, right?
Yep.
Like, don't be surprised when you do what you're told. When you do your job, or when the person who is right next to you is doing their job, which is supposed to be your job, which is killing this punk ass.
It's just so funny too, because like the entire village gets massacred because there's a little bitty blockade in front of the fucking pathway out.
How dare they?
Like, one, can none of these people climb? And it's not even like intensive climbing.
It's like high.
Standing on a box and then onto a wheelbarrow and then you jump over. Like, I'm fucking out of shape and crippled, and I could have done that shit. And then at the end, the Inquisitor moves it with the Force, and Barriss is all like, "Whoa!" Like, dude, you were a fucking Jedi Knight for well, okay. Actually, I don't know if she ever made knights. Yeah,
I don't think she was a knight.
Yeah,
but she was around Jedi Masters a lot.
Yeah. I mean, fucking Luminara was her master, and she was a fucking master, basically. So it's like, it's not that difficult. That's just basic Force using 101. Like, you couldn't have done that to at least save a couple of people.
Yeah.
Nope, everybody died.
It was just, that's when it started to turn south for me. I was just like, let me revisit these other episodes in my head and see if it still makes sense. And I started like tearing apart what I loved about this whole series. And then the last one happened, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, man.
I thought this was supposed to be an Empire story, not a Jedi redemption story.
Yeah, because I mean, that's what it was she managed to run away somehow.
She's
and
fast.
Was never found, and she got old.
She ran away with her hands behind her, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So she goes faster that way. So they couldn't catch up.
That stands.
It happens. I love that damn graphic novel. Oh,
dude, right? That's what we should be talking about right now. Have you finished it yet?
Good. No, I'm on book 3.
Oh, 5. Jesus Christ, dude.
I had to stop, or I was going to finish it all today, and I want to enjoy it. I want to like steep in it, you know?
Oh man, yeah, it's just so good. And
dude, Raphael's Raphael's death killed me.
Yeah, man. So if none of you guys have ever read the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin, it's going to destroy your fucking childhood.
A role-playing game from it, a first-person or a third-person action role-playing game, and then they're doing a live-action film.
Yeah, the live-action film, that's the one that worries me. Like, I can see different kinds of adaptations of this, but this is... Because the thing is, like, people that have never read the Ninja Turtles comics think the cartoons, think the 80s and 90s movies, which are geared towards children. The comic is not. The comic is violent, it is graphic, and it is very adult, which I fucking love. But I don't know how they're going to translate that into a general audience and have it be accepted. Now, if they if they just go straight up true to the comic and go just balls deep, hard R, like Deadpool style shit, it's definitely going to find a crowd, but I don't think it's going to be as widely accepted. But I fucking love it.
With this type of a property, because it's outside of the continuity of the Turtleverse, it's sort of like its own Roninverse thing, I think they could definitely do it. Like, just do a one-shot film, have it cater to the really big fans and people who just want to see a rated R Turtle film, and it would just... I think it would do as good as maybe the second Deadpool film. Not the first Deadpool film good. But
yeah, definitely wouldn't. Yeah. I that's what I'm hoping for, man, because it needs to be.
Do you want to review that with me?
Fuck yeah.
Right.
As soon as you're done reading it, I'll read it again. And
I mean, I'll finish it tomorrow. But
yeah, man, I've been singing its praises since I've read it. Like it is stellar writing.
So it's not stellar writing.
Yeah.
The Way Out, episode 6, the final one.
Oh my god, it just...
So Barris is a healer and a teacher, which I like. I like the redemption arc in Star Wars. That's what Star Wars is all about. Yeah. So I don't mind that. But if you give me a show that's supposed to be about the bad guys, then I want everyone to be bad.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Thing. Like, yeah, what the fuck is the point of telling us Tales of the Empire? Like, I want inner workings and mechanics of the Empire, like the seedy part, the part nobody sees. Like, that's what I want. Not this.
That's not what we got at all. So Barris is like taking care of people on some backward planet. Then her Inquisitor, the fourth sister, comes to take her out. It wasn't even her; it was someone else, wasn't it?
No, it was her. I thought.
I swear she was after the kids though first, and then Barris stepped in the way to stop her from getting them.
That's right.
Because they were like force sensitive kids or something like that. And she was like, "Oh, old sister, it looks like it's you and me." And they do this little like fake sword fight, and then she's like, "I'm not going to fight you anymore." And she's like, "Well, fine, I'm not going to fight you either. I'm just going to go kill the people that I came to kill." She's like, "Good luck." And just leaves. They don't even fight and kill each other at all. So why even have the exchange in the first place? Like it made no sense to me that it was as logical as Ahsoka going down to fight the dude at the very last episode, and then once she did a couple sword blows, she stops and she's like, "I'm not even here to fight you," and then she leaves.
Yeah,
but she was the one that came to him. So why are you leaving now? It makes no. Why did you even stop there? What was the point? That's what this was like.
Yeah, no, agreed. And it's ironic too, because this straight up felt like a fucking filler episode.
Yeah.
And they're 15-minute episodes. You're gonna tell me you couldn't come up with 15? Let's not even say 15. Let's say 12 fucking solid minutes of story.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
And the whole thing is, you're gonna get lost in a maze, and you're gonna be so scared and lost that you're going to turn the light side. What?
Yeah, that's not how that works.
What? If anything, it would drive her more insane and more rage-filled and closer to the Sith.
Because that's literally how the dark side is.
It's so dumb. So yeah, she got lost. She was in like one of those weird carnival mirror houses and got super pissed. It was like Enter the Dragon situation.
Let's not even
I don't want
remotely compare it to that.
Into the Dragon, that shit.
I get you, but
And then you just hear Barris's voice going like, just be a good person. Look on the bright side. I'll let you out if you do.
Yeah, so fucking stupid.
I just don't understand. It's the weird... If it was opposite, then it would make sense because it would be the evil guys going, give in to your anger and you will find a way out. Give in to your hate.
That makes sense. That's the easy route.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like they were trying to do the whole Luke and Vader at the end of Return thing. And that works because that was excellent storytelling.
Yeah.
And there was also 2 other fucking movies leading up to that.
Yeah.
This is nothing compared to that. And it doesn't make any fucking sense. And I'm sorry, but if you're a fucking Force user, regardless of what aspect of the Force you align with, getting out of a fucking maze can't be that goddamn difficult.
No, for real. So
plus, you got a lightsaber. You cut through some shit.
Yeah.
It's like nobody's ever watched the Treehouse of Horror where Willie is Freddy Krueger. You just take the chainsaw, you cut through the maze, you get the fuck out.
Yeah. Chris is basically the exact same thing. Just retrace your steps and leave.
Yeah.
If you've ever been in like a corn maze, if you've ever been, I don't know, just like in the forest at night, it's pretty easy to get turned around for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But the second you start like logically thinking, you're not going to be Jack Torrance. You're going to find your way out and be okay.
Yeah.
Like, no one gets lost forever in that shit. Especially if it's a stupid cave with only certain amount of ways to move around in it. Because she was constantly hitting walls. Which means that there's an exit that she came in through.
Yeah.
So just keep following the wall. And you'll end up right there.
You're going to accidentally get out at some point. Like, you could try to get super lost. And you're probably going to end up getting out just trying to get further into the cave.
And then at the end, when she stabs Barris, which was a weird, like, situation. Like, was Barris just, like, behind her in her ear? Like, you're going to do well if you just give in to the light.
Yeah.
Like, was she just hovering the whole time? Just floating behind her?
That's kind of what it seemed like.
So fucking weird. She just turns around, kills her. Sabine Wren laughed. We just hear echoes of laughter because she didn't die. And everyone else who gets stabbed does.
I don't think she died.
Oh, you think Barrisophi's still alive?
I think she lives. That's the thing. Like, upon further consideration, because it's like you get that ending and you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess she's going to get respectfully buried. And it's like, but why? Why would they do that? Especially if they're going with the whole Jedi aspect, because Jedi, you burn them where they fall. That's how it went with them. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, I guess she's going to get healed and be fine because nobody dies from lightsaber wounds anymore.
Huh.
So I think we'll see her again.
I don't know if I like that more or not.
I am very indifferent on it.
Because
I could give a fuck less.
Yeah, I was confused about how she got out. Because if she was lost and she killed the only person that could lead her out, then how the fuck should she get out? But if she wasn't dead and she was just whispering, oh, turn left.
Maybe that's what it was.
Right. And that's how she got out. Then I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe that makes sense.
No, I could see that. And I don't know, trying to maybe play devil's advocate and argue the other side. Maybe it was that dark side clarity after a murder was when she was able to open herself up to the Force and get out. But even then, that's like, I'm like really grasping for straws to make sense of something that doesn't fucking make sense.
Yeah, it was weird. She only tried to get out of the cave for 2 minutes. He tries. Jeez, getting a box of donuts. Yeah, that whole episode just left me with a bad taste in my mouth of the whole series. Like,
agreed.
It started on such a great high for the first 3/4 of that episode, and then it just slowly descended and then just went off a cliff.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're going to do Tales of the Jedi Season 2, you could have left it as Tales of the Jedi and still had this all in that, and it would have still made sense. Morgan Elspeth would have been a little bit weird because she was not a Jedi and she's not, that would have been the off one. But everything else, and even parts of hers, seemed like well, no, not really. Okay, only Barrisophi's would have worked. I don't know. It just didn't work.
Still, it doesn't work. Like, these aren't Empire people.
Just choose different characters. You know, give us those fucking weirdo ISB agents from Andor.
Yeah,
and have them go on some wacky fucking adventures, smelling each other's breath and farts. I don't know what I assume that's what they do.
I mean, sounds logical to me.
What do you think about that? Solist beans. That's what that smells like.
Definitely.
Solist beans.
Definitely.
Right. What was your favorite moment?
I mean, fucking first episode.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much the entirety of that episode was great. There were parts of it that were stupid. Don't fucking care. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, I just loved seeing all the, like, even just the battle droids and the stupid Rogers and stuff. Still, it was fun. It was a nice little nostalgia. Least favorite. What was the most egregious to you?
Oh man, like, other than just the amount of stupid fucking lightsabers, and I hate the Grand Inquisitor. They're never gonna make me like him.
Yep.
Nothing about him is awesome at all. And that title, fuck him. He's not grand at all. But aside from those, it was just the whole that final episode. Like, it was so unsatisfying. Like, there was no consequences. Homegirl got out. Barriss probably lives. It's like, cool, I guess.
I mean, it's like the last episode of Elsbeth. It's like, why bother with that? Like, what was the point? And I'm sure in Dave Filoni's mind, he's like, oh, this does some really great job of circling the entire structure of the Force and how people behave. And, like, you're reading way too much into it. You need to show us. Don't just fucking think it. Like, put it in the goddamn script so that we can be on the same page. Because otherwise, it looks like you're jerking off into the sink. And you don't jerk off into the sink.
I mean, at least if the water's running, it is what it is. But I feel like he just wants to see it slowly run down. And if you do that, it's not all going to get out. It's like, you don't want to turn a black light in there. It's going to be you're going to burn it.
I'm smelling the bleach already. All right. Do you think they're going to do another Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire? Or are you looking forward to it?
I'm not looking forward to it. It's not something that I'm like, oh my God, they need to do another season. They're going to. I'm going to watch it. I'll probably like it. But,
Yeah, it's not something that I'm going to look forward to. It's sort of like in the vein of Visions for me. I enjoyed almost every one of those.
Yeah, and I get stoked for those.
I just think they're really fun, but it's not something I'm holding my breath for.
Yeah.
But if you want to drop a season out of nowhere, I'll be like, oh, okay. Well, I'll watch that.
Yeah, I'll watch it in a setting or two and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I won't go outside of that. Just like, I mean, with the first season of Visions, there was a novel that tied in with it for that one Ronin dude or whatever.
Yeah.
I never read it.
I didn't either.
Yeah, it's like, I thought about it for about 5 seconds, and it's like, Star Wars books aren't good anymore. I don't want to set myself up for disappointment with that.
Yeah. My hopes are, if they do another season, I'll watch it, and I might like some of them. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. I don't know how I feel about Star Wars anymore. I love Star Wars through revisiting the old stuff and the EU stuff and chatting with friends like you about it. I don't really like the new Star Wars stuff that's being released.
That's the hard part. That's the part that I'm always having such a hard time coming to terms with, because I don't go into it like, and I mean, that's the joke about the show, is us, being just grumpy old men just wanting to shit talk. But it's like, no, we watch this because it means something to us. Like, I mean, those books, so many of them changed my lives, and it's so fucking dumb to say that because it's a stupid little space opera fucking property. Like, it's not that important, but these books are, the movies are, and I go into each thing with nothing but hope that I'm going to finally be like, okay, no, this one is for me. All the other ones, that was for, these other people. This is for me. And frankly, haven't had that since Andor. And I honestly don't even know if we're going to get that with season 2 of Andor. And
hold your tongue.
Terrified. Dude, I don't like saying that. I don't at all, because Andor is the greatest thing since fucking Rogue One.
Yeah.
yeah, it's disappointing. It's so disappointing not being excited for this kind of shit. Tell me 15 years ago we would be going through, we finished a Star Wars show and then another one comes out right after.
Yeah.
And that I wouldn't be excited. I would have told you you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's the times we live in.
That is the world we live in. All right. Well, anything else you wanted to cover with this thing?
Nah, man, I think we covered that.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in, both live, in chat, or after the fact. We invite you to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to get notified about our next video, whenever that's going to be. Sometimes we have to rejigger the schedules, and if I have a live show up like this one was put up a couple weeks ago, and we just have to take it down because life. It happens from time to time, but we usually try to air the Sunday after an episode airs if we're going to do series reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's nothing going on in that month, then we're going to do an episode that's just like a book review or talk about a specific topic or something. We'll always try to bring something to you.
Absolutely.
And of course, you can always support the show by becoming members, and you could always pick up Star Wars apparel, which we have at our store. Both of those links are in the description below, so check it out. So until the Infernal Brotherhood convenes again, my fellow scruffy looking Nerf Herders, may the Force be with you.
Long live the Empire. Got it.
You should have showed your Empire Sporin pack.
Oh man, I didn't think about that.
The world needs to see it.
Yeah. Wear that in my KTB shirt.